Well, as you all know, my name is Yuli. I'm 22 years old, and I met my boyfriend, my partner, Adir, in Mexico on a post-army trip. Adir was a bomb disposal expert in Yalam Special Forces Unit. He was born in New York City and moved to Israel when he was 4 years old. We fell in love without even trying. It was just effortless. After 2 incredible weeks of getting to know each other, he went back home to Israel. I somehow managed to stay apart from him for 6 weeks, but a love like ours was clearly a once-in-a-lifetime gift, so I got back home into his arms. I had to keep pinching myself to make sure it was real. How was I so lucky to have found a person like Adir and a love like ours? He lives up to his name, which means in Hebrew, epic, great, mighty, powerful. And he is also stubborn, sharp, intelligent, sensitive, who passionately loves his friends and his family. We both look forward to building our lives together. Adir was my best friend. Our safe and special routine were the way I wanted to live my life with him. I knew that it was exactly how I wanted to spend my life with him. It didn't matter where or when. The only thing that mattered, and that I knew for sure, was that it was the two of us together. I wanted this to last forever. And then October 7th, we had been waiting for that party, the Nova Festival. It had been a long time since we were all able to get together, the whole crew, and spend quality time with each other. Matan, Eli, Romi, Sela, Adir, and I. They all have been together since the first grade, neighbors who traveled the world together looking for the best waves. They welcomed me into the group with open arms. That night, I didn't even care what kind of music was being played, just that we were all able to be there together. We left for the party after Shabbat dinner at Adir's. Eli picked us up. I remember that on the way to the party in the Otef, the area surrounding Gaza, we didn't think for 1 second that we were going to a party in an area that wasn't safe. Weeks later, all I remember from the party, the look in his eyes while we were sitting together, hugging one another, sitting on some very uncomfortable mats and eating potato chips. The noise of the party totally silenced in the background, all that mattered, that we were together. And as always, our togetherness was quiet and peaceful. We decided to go rest in the tent, and I woke up to Adir shaking me and calmly saying, "Yuli, missiles." The music stopped. We opened the tent to a scene of utter horror. Thousands of people in chaos, not knowing where to go. Adir, sharp as always, manages to give me a hug and tell me to take only the important thing from the tent, that we will come back for the rest later. He knows we can't stay out here in the open with missiles overhead. We got to our car and drove Matan to his. We are some of the first to get out of the party. "Guys, let's go home," I tell them. The boys turn around to remind me we only have 15 seconds to get to a safe bomb shelter here in the southern part of Israel. 15 seconds. We pass roadside shelter full of people until we finally see one that is empty and send Matan our location. I don't want to go in. The stench is unimaginable. A tiny space full of garbage. I will end up spending 8 hours in that hole without moving. While we wait for a friend Matan, we notice injured people across the way. We run to them, we try to help. Just like we learned in the army, I call 911. Adir runs to help someone who is unconscious lying next to a tree. I try to help the other while trying to figure out how to stop his bleeding, searching for some way to stop it. Within minutes, we were shot at. Adir runs to me, screaming to me to lie flat on the floor. "Yuli, it's a terrorist attack. On 3, we are running for shelter. Adir and Eli lift me up while I'm screaming and crying to 911 on the phone that we are being murdered. Adir and Eli managed to get Romy, her friend, and I to the shelter, hugging us, protecting us with their bodies. Matan and Sarah were nowhere to be seen. Outside, there are gunshots, automatic weapons being fired, screaming in Arabic. We are on the phone with 911, whispering, afraid that they will hear us as we beg for help. They realize it's pointless, there is no time. We begin to text our family goodbye. Adir tells his brother that Matan and Sela are dead. He tells his family he loves them. He whispered to me that he loves me, and I get to tell him too. If I knew it was the last I love you, I would add so much more. Forever, I love you forever and for always. I say goodbye as well to my family. Eli manages to tell me that I'm a hero for being able to call 911. And then we hear footsteps and time stops. They are about to enter the shelter and murder us too. I understand it. There is no door, just an opening, as it's designed to protect only from rockets and not from terrorists. I can hear my heart pounding in my ears. I can imagine how much it's going to hurt when the bullet penetrates my body. And I grab into Adir as tight as I possibly can. I close my eyes and then feel his touch disconnect from mine. They left. Adir and Eli left the shelter. They ran out barehanded, weaponless, to fight God knows how many terrorists and stop them with their bodies from entering the shelter. I hear gunshots. Romy covers my mouth so I don't make a sound. The boys don't return and no one comes in for 8 hours. We don't move. No one move. We can't move because it will make noise. I want to cry, but I can't. It will make noise. They will hear us. But I have my phone. I beg anyone I can reach to come save us. I tell them that my friends are in danger, that the terrorists will soon get to us too. That maybe, just maybe, my friends are just hurt, and if they get to us, they can save us all. I beg them with every ounce of my being. I can hear the terrorists outside shooting at every single car that drives by. I hear it all the screams. And for 8 hours, no one comes for us. Romy reminds me that we are fighting for our lives right now, not to think about Adir, that there will be time for that later. I imagine that he's probably hiding. He knows the area so well. He served there. When we are finally reached, we are taken out under fire. I don't look. I just ask if there is anyone wounded next to us. They say yes. The 3 of us girls are alive. After 3 long hours on a bulletproof bus, we finally reach my father, who was waiting outside the army checkpoint. We find out that Sela was saved, severely wounded from 4 bullets, and he was flown to a hospital. We hear the news about Eli on Saturday night, murdered. I find out about Matan on Tuesday evening, murdered. I find out about Adir, my best friend, my soulmate, my partner in just about anything, just a short while after, murdered. I couldn't comprehend, I still can't. You're all dead. He is dead. And I am standing here. A part of me died with you that day. A part of me is still there in the shelter. And I am not the only one who is left partially alive. A part of me was left there on October 7. Survivors of the Nova Party, victims of the massacres and attacks on the kibbutzim, Adir friends who was called to fight on the front lines, some even before they could bury him. who went off to fight and save the hundreds of hostages that are being held by Hamas. Their families, my God. I am one of the thousands of people whose heart stopped beating on October 7th. Numbers that even a country like ours has never known. In Adir and Yuli, last heroic and unacceptable act, I can hear the plead. They are demanding we live. We are just at the very beginning of this all, just starting to figure out how to care for those people whose lives were torn apart. There was life before, and for us to have a life after, we need you to help now. Without you, my friends and loved ones won't get the crucial help they need desperately in order to live. I am 22 years old. I met my boyfriend, my partner Adir, in Mexico on our post-army trip. He is the reason I am alive. We fell in love without even trying. It was just so effortless. And now I am left with a dream of what our lives could have been, what our lives should have been. Thank you.